The hinterlands are in the northern part of the Eastern Kingdoms and are accessible by many routes, one of which being a pass through the mountains from the Eastern Plaguelands. It's one of the regions that I really like in the game. It's got beautiful landscape, sort of chaparral-like, almost pretty familiar to what we would have here. The wandering mobs consist of ooze beasts, wolves, griffins, and very, very ill-tempered moonkin. I actually find this clip really amusing because whilst I'm getting my throat torn out by this particular moonkin, I'm chatting with you about the film project. You also find feathers left here and there by some of the large griffins, kind of a cool little eye catcher. Overall, just a really, really beautiful landscape, really fun to explore, fairly low level, so it's pretty easy to do without dying. It plays home to the Wildhammer Dwarf clan, a fairly unusual band of dwarves who've set up strongholds in the mountains nearby, and they have a really cool underground sort of shop area that you can explore. The Horde is there, of course, as well, as is one of the strongholds, the last strongholds of the High Elves, and though the architecture is Night Elven, the High Elves actually look a lot more like Blood Elves, which is incredibly confusing. Another presence is that of the trolls, also extraordinarily ill-tempered, who have been here for many, many years and therefore have left a lot of architecture that is very significantly troll-like and some extraordinarily impressive strongholds. Yeah, you can guess what happened here. There was a particularly large castle fort area that belonged to the trolls that happened to be chock full of them, which I could sadly not explore unless I was dead, but still got a good look at it regardless. So the first group in this region was the trolls. They were pushed out when the High Elves established the Kingdom of Lordaeron. Um, and then, of course, after that, the Wildhammer Dwarves show up. Now, the Wildhammer Dwarves are unique because they're more shamanistic. They have a stronger connection to nature than other dwarves, and in fact, they're the ones who tamed the griffins. And actually, the reason the Alliance can get around on griffins and you can get rides on griffins places is because of the Wildhammer Dwarves. But they came in and sort of had an uneasy relationship with the trolls, most often fight. And then afterward, the High Elves showed up when their kingdom began to crumble and pissed the trolls off. So now there's conflict between all of them. Though the land does arguably belong to the trolls, even though both the dwarves and the High Elves are trying to kick them out. Just beyond the incredibly impressive Troll Temple is a path that leads out to the coast. There's a gorgeous view from the cliffside of the sea below, and there are a few islands you can swim out to and look back at the mainland. One of my favorite locations in the hinterlands, it's sort of to the northwest. It's a grove of trees and some really old night elf ruins. It's got this beautiful hazy purple glow to it, and this. The only other place I think you can find a tree like this that I know of is in Duskwood. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, anyways, that was the Hinterlands. Thank you so much for bearing with me.